You have just tuned into the Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio Show. I am Bernard Mitchell, aka Mr. BU. You with me for one full hour of information, revelation, and application, and hopefully there's no frustration. Are you ready? Let's go. Welcome to another episode of Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio. This is your boy, Mr. BU, and I am excited to be able to share with you today another show, Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio. And now, this show right here, I've been holding back on for some time. However, now we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about relationships. Now, this isn't the type of show, this is the type of relationship we're talking about, the romance in the stone, the boy meets girl, and they live happily ever after, that type of relationships. No, today's show, we're talking about understanding these relationships that you're in. And I'm not talking about the intimate ones where you're looking to establish the lifelong bond between in regards to courtship. No. Relationships as a whole. See, many of us lack understanding in regards to the word relationship and what does it mean for you in your life? What does relationship mean to you? What does it mean to have a friend? What does it mean to be a friend? What are the levels of relationship in your life? Because believe it or not, you are in relationship with everyone around you. With every single person you encounter, you are in relationship with. Now, the level of relationship, that's where the misunderstandings come into play. Understanding the levels of relationship that you're in. And when you really understand the levels of relationship that you're in with people, this will help eliminate some false expectations and some outcomes that were undesirable in the past. See, a wrong definition will take you to a wrong destination, and that is included in relationships. A wrong definition, if you define the relationship wrong, is going to lead you to a wrong destination and false expectations. See, and then when you have false expectations, that leads to frustration, distraction, hurt, wounds. And we know what happens when you get wounds and they begin to fester in you because of relationship misidentification or lack of understanding of the true relationship at hand. Wounds cause infections, infections cause diseases, and diseases causes death, even internally in regards to your emotions, your mind, your will, and your emotions. Okay? How you think, how you feel, and how you respond, your soul. So now we're getting to this meat and potatoes of relationship. We're going to get down to the bare knuckle on there. Okay, so buckle your safety belt, put on your seatbelt for this, and have an open mind as I get ready to have this discussion with you about relationships. Because seriously, I do believe this show will help give some clarity and insight, this episode, to what's been going on in your life in regards to people or the lack of people in your life. Because in order to gain a friend, you must be a friend. In order to understand what it is to be a friend, you must examine yourself. You must be able to go within yourself and handle some things from the past that will potentially affect relationships in the future. Triggers. I hear people saying now, I'm so triggered by this and triggered by that and having all these triggers. I myself went through that. No one is without triggers. And what are triggers? Triggers are simply what? Unaddressed wounds. And in relationships that did not go well, or in the process of being in a relationship with someone, you will get injured emotionally. You will have to, and you will at times not have to, but you will at times endure, excuse me, some heartbreak and heartache. in regards to relationship. And I'm not just talking about courtship relationships. I'm talking about friendships, associates, and so forth. See, here's the part that we don't understand. Many of us, there's some of us who got it, and they operate in that manner. And when it comes to people, but for those who don't, I'm going to take a page out of Jesus's book on this one. We're going to use how he handled things and how he handled people as a guide in regards to your life. And this goes back to what I was saying at the beginning, that you are in relationship with everyone around you. And here's how. Jesus operated in 4 levels of relationship. Jesus, Yeshua, whichever one you want to call. 4 levels of relationship. That was the general public, the crowd. He had set the 70, these were informal relationships. He had the 12, which were informal relationships, and then he had 3, which were that was the family or the intimate relationship. Okay? As we are talking about these levels, as you notice, the number of people are fewer and fewer as you get closer to the person. You understand? That's one thing to get in the understanding. As you talk about as closer the people were to him in regards to the type of relationship, the numbers were fewer. So that's one thing you really got to understand. You had the crowd, formal relationships, which were working relationships, informal relationships. These are more personal relationships, people that have some laughable moments with you and whatnot. And then you have the family relationships, the intimate relationships, the close and personal relationships, the family relationships. These are the ones who know intimate details about you. And these are ones that are well trusted. These are the people you are safe with, so to speak. These are the ones who hold you down, so to speak. So in understanding and even looking into your own life, because hindsight is 2020. Yes, and even I had to do this for myself, and yet and still I do it today. I measure the relationship type so that I don't have a false relationship expectation with the people or person. It's very important, because to be misidentified is to be disqualified from whom you truly are. So if I misidentify someone in my life in regards to who they are in regards to relationships, I'm going to be led to a wrong destination or outcome in regards to the type of relationship I'm looking to have with this person. So you have to be in a position to understand that as well. To be misidentified is to be disqualified from whom you truly are. And how many times have we misidentified someone in our life in regards to relationships? How many times have we thought that we had this type of relationship when it really was another? How many times? With family, friends, distant relatives, business associates, those who are in ministry, those who just the general public. How many times have you misidentified someone? Just because you had a great conversation or a good meeting, you misidentified. Or just because you had a couple of some great laughs, or you felt that you all had kindred spirits, or for some people they thought it was love at first sight. It was love at first sight. Yeah, that part. Yeah. Yeah. And then only later to find out that this isn't it. This is not what I thought it was. You got to be honest with yourself. You have to be truthful with yourself. Dramatic pause. And let's go. That is the part right there. Do you want to be honest with yourself in regards to relationship types in your life and the people who are connected to these relationships? Because that is the part right there. For some, it's hurtful. The truth will make you free. It will. but you have to be willing to face the truth when it comes to relationships. Everybody wants to be connected. We're designed to be impacted and to be an impact. We're designed to be connected. We're designed to have associations with other people. We're designed that way. So it's only natural to desire to have certain type of relationships in your life. Anyone that says, I'm good by myself, that's a false expectation of yourself. You're not designed to be alone. We're not designed to be alone. We're never designed to be alone. Now, you may choose to isolate yourself from people. You may choose to want to isolate yourself from certain type of relationships, but you were not designed that way. So being honest with yourself, I'm a loner. I'm better by myself. I've discovered for some people who speak this way, they speak this way because they don't want to deal with the maintenance that comes with relationships. Because everything, including relationships, must be fed, maintained, and nurtured. Fed, maintained, and nurtured. Your relationships are the same way. And if you don't want to be in relationships, or you want to be by yourself, you must be honest. Is that the reason why? Because I don't want to deal with the maintenance that comes with certain relationships. Yeah, we're going to talk about it. Now, I'm going to take a commercial break, but I will be back with more Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio, talking about this relationships and levels of relationships. Talk with you soon. Welcome back to Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio. This is Mr. BU, and yes, we are talking about relationships. We're not talking about the romance in the stone. We're talking about relationships as a whole, all types of relationships. And like in the previous segment, like I said, I'm taking a page out of Yeshua's book, Jesus' book, in regards to how he dealt with relationships, to explain to you so you understand the levels of relationships, so you can have some type of understanding in regards to why certain relationships went the way they did in your life. Why did you have some relationships that failed? Why did some relationships flourish? Why some relationships just seem stagnant? Why? Like I said, everything must be, every living thing, including relationships, because it involves two living individuals, two or more, must be fed, maintained, and nurtured. Fed, maintained. You must feed the relationships. How do you feed relationships? Fellowship or communication, food. Communication is the food of relationships, or we call communication fellowship. And what is fellowship? I mean, we talk about being in fellowship when you talk about ministry, you talk about associations, you talk about different organizations. This is a fellowship of this. This is the fellowship of that. This is the fellowship. And really understanding fellowship, we're talking about communication. Anytime you see fellowship, it involves communication with two or more people. That is to fellowship. To fellowship is to do what? Communicate. And when you communicate in the relationship, it should be on the level, when you're talking about any level of relationship, it's I feed you and you give what? Feedback. That is communication. I feed you and you feed back. That is fellowship. That is fellowship. I am giving you a portion of me and you in return give me feedback. You feed me back a portion of you. But if you don't communicate well, or you do not understand how to communicate in relationships, you will not have that fellowship. And fellowship is the food of relationships. That is how you feed the relationship. Any relationship must be fed, maintained, and nurtured. That is a must. That is not a should. That is a must. That is a shall. You must do this in order for the relationship to live. Because if you don't feed it, it will die. If you don't feed the relationship through fellowship, it will die. Now, understanding how in depth you go in with the relationship in regards to the fellowship, the type of communication that you do within the relationship, that's when you get to understanding the level of relationship, and you only feed on the level that the relationship truly is. That part, that is the understanding. That is the part that people lack. That is the part where I lacked. And when I did begin to come into the understanding, it was a hard transition. A hard transition. Why? Because I've given many people certain access levels and through communication into my life, and I had to begin to pull back because the relationship level, did not warrant that type of fellowship. You see what I'm saying? Formal relationships should be just that, formal. Informal relationships should be just that, informal relationships. And close and personal relationships are just that, close and personal. And the general public is just that, the general public. So you're going to communicate with them on the level that they are on. But because we as people, sometimes we are so needy to be heard. We are so needy when we go through relationship turmoil, or we go through some type of pain, or we go through conflict in relationships. Many of us don't know how to respond to relationship conflict. Many of us don't have the understanding of conflict resolution in relationships. And this is why certain people have certain access into your life that the relationship level doesn't warrant. It doesn't. Now, when you really understand you, now everything goes back to you. You are the common denominator in this. No one can make you force a relationship. No one can make you give certain information about yourself. That is a choice that you make. So a person only responds to what you give them. So if you're feeding this person and they don't give you the feedback on the level of the relationship that they know and understand, that is a false expectation on your end, not theirs. Or I told them all about me, but the relationship level didn't warrant that. This person is a working person. They're at your job. This is a formal relationship. And because you had some issues at home, you bring it into the job place. Give people intimate access into your life who the relationship does not warrant it, and you expect them to give you the same. No. That's where you went wrong. They didn't go wrong. They kept the relationship on the level, and they may take your information and disperse it to others, because that is what people do, especially if it's not a family relationship. You give family information to those who are on the family level. See, Jesus only had 3, Peter, James, and John. That was it. Only 3 were in that family relationship level. Now, informal, he had 12, the 12 disciples, 12. Now, in the formal, we could talk about the 70 people that were out doing the works that Jesus did in the streets, the 70. And then the other relationship, the one where there is really no access, that is the general public. And that is the crowd. That is a relationship as well. People that you do not know, people that you pass in the street. That is the general public. That is a relationship type. Believe it or not. That is a relationship. It is a general relationship. And you're not going to just walk up to any stranger. Well, I can't say you're not, because there are people who have spoken their personal information to perfect strangers, and in return you was looking for something that they were not willing to give because they're perfect strangers. See, you have to understand what you're doing. It takes a level of self-control to really understand how to operate and function and flow in relationships, because this will keep you from having heartache, heartbreak, disappointment, frustration, all these things. Really, we're really talking, really talking about this here because I'm seeing more people. I'm seeing more people give greater access to people who don't deserve. And an outcome, they're getting mishandled, or they're allowing themselves to be mishandled by people who do not have their best interest at heart. Manipulation and control. Why? Because this person feels that because they have gotten into. Now we're going to go into it, what happened. But you've had a false expectation. And because of the false expectation, now you're frustrated and have disappointment. See, here's something I've observed. Many people don't operate in the levels of relationship. They operate in circles of relationship. A relationship circle. This is my inner circle. These people are in my inner circle. And in that relationship circle, it's a bubble. They have this bubble. They have an outer perimeter. They have an inner perimeter. And then they have the inner circle. Now, you make this in your life. You have this circle of people around you. Now, whoever's there, the outer perimeter, these are just people who are close, they're not as close. They do not have real contact with you, but they are around. Then you have the ones that are inside the perimeter of the circle. Now, you may know some of these people, you may not. But these have more access to the inside operations of your life. They are less formal. So the ones that's outside, they're more of a formal people. Inside the perimeter, they're less formal. And then you have just a circle, and these are close relationships. You see faults and gifts of the people that you're around, and they see it in you. But see, here's the thing about it. You have a mixture of people in this circle. You have not defined the relationship type. You just got people that are in your circle, in these circles of relationship. You can have anyone in your circle. Anyone. It's almost like a pyramid, so to speak. The closer you are to the person in the pyramid, the closer you're supposed to be. But you may not, you can just grab anyone and bring them into you because you may have a good moment. You have a good conversation. Someone may say, may give you some insight and understanding about something. You just pull them on in. And this can be a perfect stranger. You know what? I can use you. Okay, I can use you here. But then you got these people in your inner circle. These are considered your inner circle. But what happens in the inner circle, these people know intimate parts of you. They see your faults. They see your weaknesses. They see the gifts. They see, and you see theirs for some. But many see yours, but you able to observe only a few. Because these people you are the center of attention. You have grabbed these people and placed them in different circles in your life. And that perimeter, that part, that these two perimeters, that's where a lot of things get misconstrued. And in that inner circle, you have people in there who can cause great things, or they can cause some damages. It's like a gamble. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. But I'm going to take another commercial break, and we'll be back with more Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio. Welcome back to Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio. This is Mr. BU, and yes, we're still talking on relationships. I last left off talking about circles of relationships versus levels of relationship. See, I'm not saying that circles of relationships are wrong. Having relationship circles, having your inner circle and outer circle, having your circle. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying that in certain regards, there are many of us who don't know how to function in that regards, how to maintain, how to manage those in these circles. You could bring anybody based on your feelings. If you don't have inner control, If you don't have those who have inner control, if it's your business, your ministry, whatever the case may be, family included, you can bring certain people into your circle, your inner circle. You may have someone of a formal relationship in your inner circle. You may have someone of an informal relationship in your inner circle. You may have someone from the general public in your inner circle because someone introduced you to someone who's a perfect stranger, but because this person has a certain thing or you connected just for the moment, you bring them into your inner circle. And these people here are perfect strangers. I've seen it happen many times, and I have allowed it to happen before in my own life. So learning from these mistakes, learning about what happens in relationships. This is, you bump your head enough. You hit your head against the wall so many times. You begin to learn, stop, don't do that. It hurts. And many of us, we want to blame others for the wounds that we have. And when in all actuality, I'm not going to say all of them, but some of those wounds that you have endured, some of these pains that you have taken on were caused by you allowed the wrong people, the wrong access into your life. And something happened that caused you pain, them pain, and then there came separation. Because one thing about the circle, you can get kicked out the circle anytime. You can kicked out, you get booted out your circle anytime. You get to snatching things and taking things and pushing people away quickly with these circles. Now, when you understand levels of relationships, see levels. For each level, you need to grow into that. See, that's the part of relationships that people are going away from, especially with the way social networking is, the way technology is. Everything now is becoming instant matchups, instant this, instant that, quick. But where is the investment of time into each relationship? See, that is the part. As you get closer, you have those who are intimate, close and personal. Those type of relationships happen. They are established over years. A family relationship on the family level or intimate level does not happen overnight. This doesn't happen through a website. It doesn't happen through a dating site. It doesn't happen through a compatibility questionnaire. No. To have a family type of relationship, this happens through testing the relationship. Every relationship will be tested on every level. The closer the people are to you, the more intense the testing is. If you have someone, you can recover from someone who you don't know who may offend you. Most of the offenses that you hold on to are by those you love, by those you care for, by those you have invested time into over time. That is many of the wounds that we take on emotionally are from those type of relationships. Mentor relationships, mentor-mentee. Those are very close relationships because you're working directly in someone's life or lives, depending on how many mentees you have. So when we're talking about what is occurring within the relationship, you have to understand what you're doing in the relationship. See, let's go to Ephesians 4:17 and 18. It says, "This I say, therefore, and testify in the Lord that you should no longer walk as the rest of the Gentiles walk in the futility of their minds, having their understanding darkened, being alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them because of the hardening of their hearts." See, the ignorance of the word and God's ways, and that stops life from happening. See, that's what happens. You then see, because there has been abuse and misuse in regards to relationships, that will lead to disuse. I don't want to be involved in any relationships no more because you've been abused, or you misuse, or you have misused, or you have abnormally used the relationship. One, the other, or both. And because of misuse and abuse, that leads to disuse. You don't want to be in another relationship. You don't want to be in a marriage again. You don't want to be, you don't want to have a best friend in your life anymore. You don't want to have, be a mentor anymore. You don't want to have this. You don't want to have that because there was an abuse or misuse that occurred that caused you great pain. See that part. See, it takes healing within first. You got to do that first. You have to address. Because when you get down to the nuts and bolts, where the rubber meets the road, in your own life, we all want that special person in our life. We all want to have that great relationship, friendship. We all want to have that go-to person. We all want to have that person that we can release to. We can trust. You show me the person that's supposed to be the hardest person in your life. The one that's supposed to be the one that's well maintained and in control and doing it by themselves. And I will show you someone who is missing, lacking, and having an empty void in regards to fellowship and relationship. Why? Because we're designed to have fellowship. We're designed to be in relationships. We're designed that way. And anytime you go against your design, there's going to be malfunctioning somewhere along the line. You just got to be willing to identify what areas in your own life you're malfunctioning in, because there is an empty void in your life when you keep away from having true fellowship in your life. I feed you and you feed back. And because of pain keeps many people from wanting to have those type of relationships. Having to maintain the relationships keep many people from wanting to have true relationships in their life, because past maintenance, because many people were high maintenance people, because some people were not high enough for them in regards to maintaining the other side. You're giving more than what the other is giving. You're giving too much and they're not giving enough, or vice versa, whatever the case may be. Yes, every relationship, again, I would say must be fed, maintained, and nurtured. Fed, maintained, and nurtured. Marriages, fed, maintained, and nurtured. Friendships, fed, maintained, and nurtured. Business relationships, fed, maintained, and nurtured. Associations, ministry relationships, fed, maintained, and nurtured. Anytime you are in fellowship with someone, that fellowship must be fed, maintained, and nurtured. Mentor-mentee relationships, fed, maintained, and nurtured. What level are you operating on? What application are you using when it comes to relationships? Have you been doing the levels of relationship by default unknowingly? Or are you operating in this circle where you have everybody just grouped into a circle and not knowing the relationship level of the people around you? Everyone has access. I got one person said, I have my entourage. Now you have your entourage of perfect strangers. These are people who are great at their expertise, but they're around you all the time. They're seeing your weaknesses. See, this is what happens when we look at television or we look at streaming TV and we see something happens, like you have an operation and you have people who are close in the operation, but there's some type of betrayal that happens from someone in that circle or that camp, as they say. They like to say, in such and such camp, this leaked out, or this leaked out. It leaked out because you have someone within the camp who's not supposed to be within that relationship level. That's how that works. You got everybody in the camp, but you got too many people who are too close to you. Too close. I'm not saying that you have to be standoffish. No. What I'm saying is understanding the level of relationships with people around you. There's nothing wrong with having a camp, but within that camp, there needs to be understanding of the type of relationships that you have. There's nothing wrong with having a circle of people around you, but understand the level of the relationship level of the people within the circle, and not just have everyone in your inner circle or just anyone within your inner circle. Have your Peter, James, and John in that inner circle. Understand where the people fit when it comes to informal and formal relationships. If this is a working relationship, don't talk to them about your marital issues in your working relationship. If this is an informal relationship, don't give them intimate access. And if it's a personal relationship, don't just always talk to them about working things, because now you're talking about we're not feeding on the same level. See, you have to understand, what are you feeding each relationship? What are you giving? What are you contributing? What are you doing? Because these are the things that people need. They need to understand, and someone must guide or be the example of how the relationship is going to go. Someone must take the lead. And in your own life, that needs to be you. I'm going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back with more Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio. Welcome back to Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio. This is Mr. BU, and yes, I am talking on. Today is a wonderful segment on relationships. Relationships. And I've been talking in regards to this here. This is important. I feel that this is an important thing in regards to life and living, that we need to really understand the type of relationships that we are in with people so that we can understand how to proceed further and how to understand, because many people don't know how to build relationships. You just establish, like it just happened, like boom, we're great friends. Man, this is my new best friend. No, you can't. Because that person rescued you, because that person said something to you, because that person checked you. Why are they your new best friend? And when did this relationship establish or build up to this point? Because when you say best friend, you have opened up the door of your inner life to someone who don't understand you. You have not built to that point. See, like I was talking about earlier with technology and where we are in the digital age, where we're doing right now, you have many people in this world who are on the instant, quick, fast, in a hurry, microwave babies, so to speak. Everything is instant. Instant oatmeal, instant grits, instant dinner, instant relationships. Everything is instant. At the dial of a button, the touch, the swipe left or swipe right. This is where we're at now. And all of a sudden, this person is supposed to understand everything about you because you shared a few details on a computer app. No. Sounds good in theory for those who want to live their lives that way. But when you really, truly understand relationships, that's one thing that will never change. I don't care how advanced technology gets. I don't care how AIs, how advanced the artificial intelligence world is. When it comes to people, relationships will always be the same. I feed you and you feed back. And as we continue to do this, see, that is what communion was about. When Jesus did communion with the disciples, he took the innermost part of himself and fed it to them. And they in turn gave him feedback on the same level. See, when you're talking about relationships, especially the close personal ones, we're talking about the intimate relationships, the family relationships. There's a sacrifice that you make for the family relationship at times. There are many times we will sacrifice ourselves for that relationship. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We will take the fall sometimes for that relationship that we call a family relationship, a close person relationship, for the ones we think are our Peter, James, and John in our life. We will I'll roll with you till the wheels fall off. I'm here, man. I'm ride or die. This is my ace boon coon right here. This is my number one. This is my dude. This is my partner. This is my roadie. And we'll make sacrifices. But you got to make sure the person that you were saying, or the people that you say you are sacrificing for, does the relationship level warrant it? Or are you about to make one of the biggest mistakes of your life for the sake of someone who will not make the same for you? Now, you have to do some great examination of yourself and the people around you. I'm not saying be skeptic. I'm not saying that. What I'm recommending is that you examine yourself, examine your life, look at the people around you, see what's going on. The relationship has to be tested on that level. Is this really a personal relationship? Here is the test. And did that person pass the test? Did you pass the test of the relationship level? Did you? You got to you have to reflect. You got to look back. The times when you needed someone. Why do we hold on to people who we know are not on the same level relationship-wise with us? Why do we do that? The need to feel needed. The need to fulfilling the desire of being attached. Because we have rejection issues, abandonment issues. Why do we hold on to people knowing that these people need to fade away? That season has passed. The time has come. The day of reckoning is here. Nothing happens until something happens. And when you have people in your life taking space where there should be the true people. See, the counterfeit always comes before the real thing. And relationships are included. That sometimes happens. You will have the counterfeit come into your life, look like it, sound like it, can be that chameleon, that will look the part, can camouflage themselves because you have given them all the information they need to act the part. This person has received all, but have not proven themselves. See, everything, that's why even in manufacturing, when we're talking about the beta testing, everything must be tried and tested, including relationships, tried and tested. Are your relationships proven? Are they certified true relationships? Are these relationships certified on the level that you thought? See, these are the things you need to reflect on in your own time, in your meditation time. Not to slow down. Not to go at them because something happens and then all of a sudden you have an epiphany. You ain't who I thought you was. And then you going in on this person when really it boils down to your choice. Your choice. Because for many people in your lives, they are showing you who they are. You're choosing not to acknowledge it. Is that you? How about you? That people are showing you who they are, but you are not acknowledging. And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall do what? Make you free. The more truth I know about me, the more free I'll be. Same thing applies in relationships. Are you being truthful with yourself in regards to the people in your life? This circle of relationships. These people in your inner circle, these people in your outer circle, these people in the perimeter outside of the inner circle. Who are they? We're quick to say people are replaceable. We're quick to say that you I don't need you, I don't this, I don't that. And in all actuality, the person that you looking to replace may just be what is prescribed for this season in your life. If you are surrounded by yes people, you need to be cautious. If you're surrounded by people who are not willing to share some correction with you and do it in love and do it in love. Now, love doesn't mean being passive, but they doing it out of love. They're checking you, but they're doing it because they want to see you live better. They want to see you do better. They see you better than what you're operating in, and they're sharing something about you to put you back on balance. What is that also called? That's called judgment. That's called judging. To judge someone is to measure, to weigh them. And if someone's in relationship, they're measuring you and weighing you. They're weighing you with the right scale and doing it in love. See, again, understanding the relationship. See, many of us get offended because someone that we love and someone who know us well will give us the correction or judge us. And we're quick to say, don't judge me. No, you're taking away this person's right to be able to love you as needed. Think about that. Don't judge me, but I'm going to tell you something I did, but don't judge me. Why not? Because because you want me to be silent, I consent to your wrongdoing. Same thing goes for me. I'm being silent about it. Now, I know, easier said than done. I know. You don't want to deal with certain things in regards to relationships. It's easier when you just don't know these type of things. It's easier operating in the dysfunction. It's easier when you don't have to feed, maintain, or nurture a relationship. You could just go and where the wind blows. Say whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Be whoever you want. Until someone who really cares about you and wants to have a true relationship with you begin the process of building the relationship. See, relationships are built no matter what level they're on, except that general public. If we're talking about a working relationship, you're going to build working relationships. If you're talking about an informal relationship, you're going to build informal relationships. If you're talking about close, personal, intimate family relationships, you got to build even more on that level. For each relationship level after the general public, it takes work. It takes work. It doesn't take any work to cross someone and to talk to someone in passing. How you doing? Having that general heart of love for humanity. That right there. It doesn't take a lot. That doesn't take maintenance. That's just a choice. But when you're talking about building other relationships, formal, informal, personal, now we're talking about some fellowship being put in. More fellowship is required the closer people get to you. More, not less. Don't have a false expectation. Thank you for sharing your time with me today on Be the Ultimate You Talk Radio. This is Mr. B.U. signing out. Thank you for tuning in to today's show. I'm Mr. B.U. And until next time, be bold, be true, be the ultimate you.